Hello, everybody, and thank you for being here today. My name is Molly McClelland, and I am the director of the Center for Student Success. And I just wanted to take a second first to introduce you to the other folks that are here as part of our panel today. So first we have Michael Elko, who is overseeing all of our tutoring services. And also joining me today are Angelo Gargaro and Judy Chanyi, who will be the coordinators, the academic advisors, who assist students who are in the School of Business majors. So I just want to first take a second to thank you all for being here today in this very unorthodox way. I'm so glad that all of you have joined us. I want to welcome you to Point Park. I want to welcome you to the Roland School of Business. And I want to welcome you to my living room, which is the only place left that is clean in my house after homeschooling for 3 months. So I think. So thank you for joining us. The objectives today really are to introduce you to what we do in the Center for Student Success, to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have about what we do, concerns that you have for the fall semester, what you're thinking about in terms of the schedules, or questions that you might have for the coordinators about your schedules. And we really want to make sure that you have the confidence to know that we've got this, that this has been a time of really great anxiety for students, for parents, and we've kind of had a trial run this spring semester of how things will go. And so we're really confident that regardless of what happens, you'll see us either virtually or in person, and that no matter what, we will deliver the quality of services and form the relationships that we feel you need to have as a college student. So a little bit about the CSS. What's beautiful about our space, either on ground or virtually, is that we're really a comprehensive center for students' needs, their academic support, disability support, tutoring support. So we handle undergraduate advising. We offer services and accommodations to students who have registered for disability services. And we have a tutoring service that is really targeted to meet students' needs across the curriculum. So whether it's an academic content area, if it's writing across the curriculum, if it's academic coaching, just to kind of help keep you on track, we offer all of those services to students. So, our philosophy and what we really hope to do in the summer before you all come to campus is to form relationships. So we need you to know that we're available. We're available by email, we're available by phone, we're available by virtual conference, whatever way you're comfortable with, whatever technologies you have, whatever way you want to come to us and ask questions. We are available 8:30 to 4:30 every day. And we will be that way from the time that you enter Point Park until the time that you graduate. So these are your people, we're your people, and we're here today to just introduce you to what we do and to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might be having. So I'll kick off a little bit about going a little deeper into some of the resources and services that we offer. So as I said, our primary role is undergraduate advising. So we are responsible for all of the scheduling that you'll do. We do all of the processes and forms that you'll need should you choose to declare another major, or declare a minor. If you decide to change your major at any time that you're here, if you decide to study abroad or go take courses at another institution, we're really a place that kind of makes sure that all of those opportunities fit within your degree program and are part of what takes you to graduation and beyond. So we work closely with campus partners across the university. We know somebody in every office, so it's really our goal to make sure that we're not just sending you off to another space, that we are connecting you with another human being that we know and trust that can give you the service that you need. We also are home to disability services. So if you've received an accommodation in your K-12 experience or at your previous higher education institution, we can offer similar services. There's a process for registering with that. We're actually going to be holding another webinar later this summer to introduce more in depth what we do with disability services and tutoring services. So this is just to let you know that that's available. We also have within our center an early alert system. So this is a way for people who are close to students, if it's faculty members, the residence halls, other staff members who interact with students on a regular basis and who have a relationship with students, to let us know if something is going on. And it's never been more critical for us than during the time of COVID-19. So it allows us to know if somebody is not participating in class, is having issues with technology, is struggling with assignments, has a illness themselves or a relative with an illness, whatever the issue might be. We want to make sure that we're supporting our students. We know that Point Park students have come to Point Park because of the size of the institution. It's small. The expectation is that you'll develop relationships with people who care for you. And really, that's what we want you leaving here today, is just knowing that there are people who care, that we're here to answer any question that you might have. There's not been too many with the experiences on this team that we've not met. The virus has been a little bit different, but no virus is too big for us. And you know, we're confident and proud of the work that we do, and we're here because we love Point Park and we love Point Park students. And so that's just a little bit of overview. I want to turn this over to Michael Elko, who can talk about some of the academic resources that are available to you, particularly as School of Business students.
Yes. Hi, thank you, Molly, and welcome to Point Park. We look forward to seeing you in the fall. As Molly said earlier, I oversee tutoring services for the university, and this is a valuable resource for you. We're here to help. That's the main thing I want to say today. I will be getting into more detail. I'm giving you a little preview. This is like coming attractions. We're going to be having a webinar next month about tutoring services, and we'll probably couple that with disability services as well, because we work in conjunction with disability services, but we work for all of you. Every student who, if you run into an issue and you need help with your academics, if you need help with, you know, an assignment, a paper, studying, we got you covered. I want to let you know that we have both an on-ground presence and an online presence. You can use either. And our on-ground presence is in the building where CSS is located, the West Penn building. We'll get into that at the other webinar next month. But I want you to know we have peer tutors to help you. So these are students who have taken the courses that you will be taking. So they have great insight into those courses, and they can be a great, they'll be a great resource for you. I encourage you all to sign up for tutoring services. We have a website that is very easy to register for services and to use to make an appointment. You can use that site to make an appointment with have a one-on-one consultation with the tutor in person, online, and you can also upload documents and assignments on that site for a tutor to review and then to meet with you or to email you the answers to your questions. That site is pointpark.mywconline. We'll get into that in the, we'll throw that up in the comment section. I think Angelo can do that. He might be able to do that now, but we'll definitely, thank you, Angelo. We'll definitely do that in July as well. We'll revisit that. I want you to know it's bifurcated tutoring services. We have a tutoring center and a writing center. Our tutoring center focuses primarily on the STEM classes, the science, technology, engineering, and math courses that you will be taking. And then we have the writing center, which is across the curriculum. Any writing assignment you have, you can meet with the writing consultant for advice, just to get another pair of eyes to look at something, etc. So I know that all of you are going to be taking probably Math 180 and Math 175, I believe. Most of you will be taking that your first semester, along with some other courses that are required, like English 101 or COM 101, and also University 101. In addition to that, I think you'll be taking, a lot of you have a lot of psychology, Psych 150, I believe, the first term. We can help you with every one of those freshman intro fall courses. We have you covered. We have you covered for the courses that you'll be matriculating into as well. But please, my main message today is like, we're here for you. We're excited that you're coming. And we want to see you not only in CSS, but also in tutoring services if the need arises. Okay? I'm going to hand this back to our master of ceremony here, Angelo Gargaro, and the wonderful Judy Chanyi, who we all love.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Michael. And thank you, Judy, for being here. And thank you to everybody for joining us here today. I will be moderating, I guess, this fun little experiment of a Q&A with you all. So thank you for joining. I just want to get some housekeeping things out of the way right up front so you feel comfortable with this process. Everybody in this webinar, you are hidden from everybody else. So privacy is really something that we're going for in these webinars so that we can feel comfortable with asking questions. Any question that you pose will be private. Only the four of us here will see that question. When we respond to it, it will be general. So feel free to ask any kind of question that you have. We'll answer it generally. And then after the webinar, when you leave, there will be a survey. And in that survey, you can ask additional questions, and we will follow up with you after the webinar if there's something maybe you didn't feel comfortable with during, or if you think of something after, feel free to please actually fill out that survey so we can help service you better here in the future. Really excited to meet you all here in the fall. So let's begin. You can ask your questions by going into the GoToWebinar control panel and just typing away. So please feel free. We have a few questions that have started to come in, so let's dive into this. Judy, I'll let you answer this. I am a transfer student. How do I register for fall classes?
Okay, that's a little more complicated than I think we want to answer right here. How about if you email me and we can get you started? Oftentimes I will create a schedule for you just to be helpful, and then we can kind of go back and forth that way if you prefer that. So and my email is, and I think you would know it, but is jchanyi@pointpark.edu.
And I just added the email for Judy and myself in the main chat area. And in that chat area, you can also find links to Point Web, which is where you ultimately would be creating your schedule. That's where you can view it after it's been created for you, if that's the route that you choose to go as a transfer student. Incoming freshmen, we make your schedule here in the CSS for you. And we have emailed students already that have gone through the process, have a schedule, so please make sure you're checking your emails as well. I also linked the Tutoring Center and CSS's website on Point Park's website. So lots of information there. Thank you, Judy, for responding to that. Somebody did ask this question. I responded to them already privately, but I think this is good just for other people to know. The question was, can you please provide the contact information for financial aid? So if anybody needs to get in contact with financial aid or student accounts, there are two emails you will want to have ready. The first is financial aid at pointpark.edu. And for student accounts, you would go to student accounts at pointpark.edu. All right, we got another question. And again, feel free to start asking these. This is what this is all about, is to answer any question that you may have. And if we can't answer it here today, we will get back to you. So Judy, here's another one for you. How big are the class sizes?
Generally, well, I advise the sports art and entertainment management people within the School of Business. Angelo does all the other business majors, but generally in the SAEM classes, they're about 15 to 18 people.
There we go. And I know the student instructor ratio is something that Point Park really focuses on. It's really important to give a healthy class size while still being able to individually work with students, get to know them, get to learn their strengths and weaknesses. I know from working with my current students that ability to interact with their instructors is really valuable. So it's a really cool environment here at Point Park for that reasons. So I'm gonna maybe answer this question here. What courses are we required to take freshman year? So as Judy explain, she advises in the School of Business, the Sports Art Entertainment Management program. Great program. I'm sometimes jealous of her for getting to advise such an awesome program. I'm big into music and things like that too. I advise accounting, business, marketing, finance, econ, human resource management, and all that kind of stuff. So it depends on your major. But in the School of Business, and Judy, weigh in if I'm off a little bit on your side of things, most of the classes you're going to take in the first 2 semesters will be University 101, which is our intro freshman course. English 101, which is a college level English, Math 180, which is college algebra, Psych 150, which is psychological foundations, CMPS 114, which is an applied computer software program. Most marketing, principles of marketing, those are pretty common in the first academic year. Judy, do you see anything else trickle in for sports art entertainment management students?
Yes, for our incoming freshmen, they take the SAEM 101, which is the intro to the program, which is a great kind of general overview of the program. They take that, they take the Psychology 150, they take the University 101, English 101 or COM 101, and then another core class. So just depending upon, what other scheduling conflicts they may have or what have you. But I do want to say to the students, especially the freshmen, that these requirements are laid out by the faculty in your department. So it's not just something we've come up with. They have handed down to us this prescribed list of classes that we have to put you in. So it's a good first semester. It's not anything that anybody can't handle. And so there's that. Okay.
This next question, and so far really awesome questions. I'm glad that we're getting the gears rolling here on a Thursday. Is that what it is? It's hard to keep track here while socially distancing. How should I go about declaring a minor? Judy, how would a student do that?
Okay, you cannot declare a minor until your sophomore year officially. If you're interested in a minor though, then say when we meet in November or in October to schedule for spring of next year, and say you're interested in a history minor, well then we can start to maybe put a couple of history classes into your schedule for next semester. And then when we meet after that, then we can actually do the official paperwork for you.
I'm going to pipe up just a little bit and throw my 2 cents in about the minor. What I think is really what we've noticed as a trend is that many more students are deciding to do a minor in addition to their major to kind of flex a different skill set, to say, yes, I'm an SAEM major, but I've also got experience doing graphic design work. So it's a way for you to kind of add on another skill set in an area without potentially adding on additional time to your degree. So there are ways to do this that you're not incurring another semester or 2 worth of cost. You can actually, in working with your CSS coordinators, figure out a way to make that happen during your time at Point Park.
Okay. And don't forget, almost every major has room in their program for electives. So for SAEM, for example, there's 9 credits worth of electives, which can be anything at all. So you've got those 9 credits. So say you're interested in a minor, well, there's space right there without incurring any extra time or cost. There's 9 credits right there that you can start to do your minor. And then you just take a few more classes kind of sprinkled throughout your time here at Point Park, and you'll have your minor done.
Something I would like to also just reference for those of you who may be a business management major, there are concentrations built within the major. And oftentimes I do get questions from my current students on what that is. Is it like a minor? And just for clarity right up front, the concentration, I guess you could say it's similar to a minor where it helps you focus and specialize in a particular area, but it is built into the overall credit value of your program. So essentially you have to pick a concentration. There's 4 different options, and we can discuss that if you have questions. It's more of a one-on-one kind of conversation to see what you're interested in, what your career goals are. but the concentration is built into the actual major. You could also still minor at that point. So you could really start to create a value for yourself and become multifaceted, wear many different hats, become a hybrid kind of professional by adding on different academic credentials and pursuits. Let's see here. I have a question, and we may need some clarity on this question. Do you have to declare sports management in order to be part of that business major? If you're an incoming freshman, you would want to work with your admissions representative to ensure that you are pursuing the correct degree. If you're an incoming transfer, I guess you would do the same thing, right? Judy, Molly, is there any recommendations that you would have there?
I'm thinking that if, say, you're undecided, but you are you're a declared undecided person, but you have a little bit of interest, I wouldn't be adverse to adding an SAEM 101 to your schedule just for you to kind of feel it out and see if you think it's a good fit for you. I hope that answers the question.
Essentially, yeah,
I'm sorry, Angelo. I think if you're coming in as if you're thinking business management and now you're hearing because you're in this webinar that there's something more specific and sports is really your major, then by all means reach out to us and we can get that changed, and we'll get your incoming schedule changed to reflect specifically that you're interested in sports, art, entertainment management.
There we go. All right, moving forward, we have a question here that was referencing some of the services that were mentioned earlier from Molly and Michael, whether it be tutoring or disability services. The question is, are those services free? Michael, would you like to weigh in?
Short answer, yes, absolutely, they're free. You have, and I want to mention this also, in addition to the tutors and the writing consultants, we do have academic coaches. And the services of the academic coaches are free too. Academic coaches can help you with your organization, can help you, if you're getting a little overwhelmed and you need a coach, you need somebody who can provide you with some guidance as you pursue your degree. They will be able to help you with that. And that is all included in your tuition, so it's all free.
There we go. And the writing and tutoring centers, and I know Michael touched on this, I'm just going to reiterate slightly. Right now, we are in a remote setting due to, the world. And so we're still up and running there and haven't missed a beat. The writing and tutoring centers, when we're back on campus, they will be there as well. So you'll have options across the board according to your preference. And I work very closely just with Michael in the tutoring center, and they do amazing work. And as the question posed, are the services free? It's within the tuition that you're paying, so you should definitely utilize it for sure. We've had a lot of success stories. Judy, I'll give this one to you. What buildings are business classes held in? There you go.
Sorry, I was muted. Most business classes, most SAEM classes are in the West Penn building. So, it's kind of all, we're vertical. So you'll be on one of those floors.
And West Penn is also, that's where the tutoring center is. That is where the Center for Student Success is, on the 5th floor of West Penn. And this might not make sense if you haven't visited the campus yet. I know that hasn't necessarily been available, but once you get on campus and you see how beautiful it is, one note to pay attention to is West Penn has 2 different sides to it, 2 different elevator bays. One side takes you only up to the 5th floor, which is our suite, and the other side goes up to 13, and that's where a bulk of the classes are on that other side that go up to 13. There are some on the other side as well, though. We get those questions a lot when the semester kicks up, that students are running around trying to find what side to go to. But we're there to help you. And here's something else to note too. I actually, when we're on campus, I use this often with students. You can go to Point Park's website, which is pointpark.edu, and in the search bar in the left-hand side, you can search for a campus map. It's colored. It's got like what do you call that? A key, a template, whatever. What is that called down at the bottom?
That's a key.
Legend. The key, Angelo.
Legend.
There we go. It's been a while. So it's there
Mike
to help you find your way.
bifurcate at the beginning of the thing, so of course he's gonna. It's not a key. It's a legend.
Legend.
Legend. That's it. Thank you. It's summertime. So I would recommend you go and you can start looking around at what the layout for the campus is. We are right in the city. It's a beautiful campus, and I can't wait for everybody to see it and hang out with us. All right, so moving right along, Judy, I'll give this one to you as well. What electives can I take as a freshman?
Really none. As an SAEM person, as I said before, your first semester schedule is kind of prescribed. So you'll be taking a lot of those intro and core courses. You'll be doing your electives a little bit later on, and then we may want to talk just so that we can possibly discuss a minor or how you might want to work those.
And to piggyback off of that, there's another really good question that I think ties into a little bit of the electives, and I'll take this one. So the question is, are there any fun internships in the School of Business? I actually think the School of Business does a really fantastic job at finding experiential learning opportunities for students between internships, which can sometimes count for 3 credits, sometimes not. It's really the experience that's the value in these opportunities. But then there's also something called a co-op, which, you know, kind of colloquially, we all refer to it as an internship on steroids, right? So it is something where you work full time in your preferred industry, doing entry level kind of work. You're not making copies or getting coffee. You're doing legitimate, true work to gain experience. You're getting paid at a competitive rate. These are all the kind of standard requirements of the co-op, and it can count up to 6 credits in your program. So I want to correlate that to the electives in that conversation that we had as well, because most of the time an internship and a co-op, you need to have elective credits available for those opportunities to kind of apply towards. So as Judy was saying, the first year, there really aren't any electives that you'll be taking. And I like to advise my students to save those elective spots at least until like midway through sophomore, going into junior, because that junior year is when the internships and co-ops really start. And it's really ideal to have those electives available in the event that you have an opportunity like an internship, a co-op, and you can do multiple of those. So definitely a highlight there in the School of Business and in other programs throughout Point Park University.
Angelo, I would also like to say that for this SAEM program, an internship is required. So that is part of the overall credit. You must do at least one. You can certainly do more than one for credit, but one is required. You have to couple little hurdles that you have to jump before you can get to the internship spot, but we'll help you through that whole thing. I will help, your faculty will help, and the internships are such a valuable time that you know, we're happy to have it as part of our degree program.
Absolutely.
It's so important to acknowledge that many of our students work currently hold jobs, some of them multiple jobs, multiple part-time jobs. Some of our students are working as full-time employees. And so we've learned to get really creative with internship experiences, practicum experiences, co-op experiences to ensure that those are accessible for all students. So compared to our peers, Point Park students work more hours than most. And so we're really conscious of all of the hats that everyone's trying to wear and what people are trying to juggle. And so we work really hard to make sure that nobody loses out on an opportunity to gain professional experience. You're trying to take a step forward. That's why you're enrolling in college, and we're respectful and conscious of that. So don't think just because your circumstances might look different or you feel like what you have on your plate is different from anybody else. We are very non-traditional in our student body. It's what we love the most about our work here, is that the life experience and life context of our students is so distinctly different from anywhere else. And we've been able to do that successfully. So please don't ever be embarrassed or afraid to ask a question. That's why we wanted to get out in front of you today, is to let you know that we're real live human beings. We're pretty funny. Judy got her quarantine haircut. She's glowing. Michael did his own quarantine haircut. He's looking fantastic. Angelo shaped himself up. I think I brushed my hair for the first time today. So we just want for you guys to know that we're here and we're human, and it really is our passion, and what drives us is just the want for all students to be able to find their path and to be successful.
And I know whenever I was in my undergrad, I went to a school that had 30,000 students there. I met with my success coordinator advisor less than 4 times. I've gotten to know my students. When our seniors graduate, like, we feel for them, like, we're excited, like, we know them, we know their journey, we know what they've been through. And that's a highlight, I think, for Point Park, is we have the ability to really get to know you and work with you to your needs, whatever they may be, traditional learner, adult learner, and everything in between. So Point Park, let's go Point Park. Yes. So here's actually a really good question. They said this may be off topic, but it's a great question. Where is the best parking access to West Penn building? I have some recommendations. I think all of us probably have some because all like 4 of us here get into the city and onto campus, I think, a little bit differently. Michael, do you want to? You're a city guy, huh? What's your recommendation?
Well, for parking, there's a garage. First of all, you can get an app, and I wish I knew the name of it. But you can get an app so that if you have it, your daily rate is lower than the parking rate that the city of Pittsburgh, the parking authority, charges, which can be, I'll be quite frank, rather high. There's also a lot near West Penn. And I was trying to think of a mnemonic for West Penn, and it's We the People, WP. We're right there. You want to come to us, We the People. It's near West Penn. It's called the Mom Wharf. And for $10 a day, you can park there, and you have easy access to all the buildings on campus. I also commute via bus. I don't know if the incoming student would be taking a bus or driving. I'm thinking they're driving because they're asking about parking, but you might want to consider parking like in Oakland somewhere where it might be cheaper, and taking the shuttle in. Are we still going to Oakland with the shuttle yes. So there's the Point Park shuttle that you can take. But if you're driving into the city, I would say the cheapest spot is the Mom Wharf. That's the closest. There's one across the Monongahela River, and I think that's even cheaper. It'll be just a little short walk across the bridge, and that's at Station Square. So
There's a shuttle for that too, Michael.
Oh, thank you, Judy. Thank you. So Station Square, I believe, Angelo and Molly, you sometimes walk because you're kind of like a city.
I'm a South Sider, and yeah. I have a very secret place that I park, and I walk.
We won't reveal it in this webinar.
It depends. So the person who asked that question come to me privately, and if we become tight, I might tell you where I park. But if you tell me, if you tell anybody else, I might have to kill you. No, we find crafty ways to get into the city. Commuting is an expense, and we recognize it as an expense. Many employees and students take public transportation. For those of you who are commuting, one thing that it's important to reach out to us and let us know. We really try to build your schedule so you're kind of stacked onto less days. We register our commuter students first. We're extremely sensitive to both the cost of tuition and then adding on these kind of ancillary costs and books and parking and all that kind of stuff. So there are ways to kind of condense your schedule so that you're on campus fewer days, so that we can help you to defray some of those additional costs. But there are in surrounding neighborhoods ways to find places to park that are off the grid, and you might not have to pay the parking if you're willing to take a walk.
And as Michael mentioned, I think the most consistently open spot really at the end of the day to answer the question, if you're going to be driving and parking, I think Station Square is maybe the best way to go. There's a $10 lot, $8 lot, and then there's also an ancillary one that's over by Highmark Stadium as well. There's always spots there. Some of students will come up with really inventive ways on where to park, how to park cheap. But the most consistent way to make sure that you're getting there on time and into your classes, I would recommend Station Square. We've had a couple people weighing in on some apps that are really, really good. Park PGH, I actually use that one, and Go Mobile PGH. are apps that can show you where the pay stations are. You can update your like duration of time. Like if you're in class and your meter's running out from that app, you can actually add another half hour or whatever it may be, so you don't have to rush out and put more money in or anything like that. So and correct me if I'm wrong, friends, I think after 6 o'clock for any evening classes, parking on the streets is free, correct?
And there's a lineup.
So-
People start lining up to get those spots. Yeah, so 10 to 6, 5 to 6, people are starting to get antsy and get ready for those street parking spots. So yeah, that is true.
All right, we've got some really awesome questions coming through. I want to thank everybody again for posing these. We've still got some time here, so if you've got questions, make sure you present them to us. I want to remind you again that when you exit the webinar, there will be a survey. Please take a few minutes to fill it out. It's only 3 questions. It will help us facilitate these webinars in the future and also follow up with any questions, concerns that you may have. Molly, I'm going to present this one to you. I think you'll be able to give a nice general response to this. What is covered in University 101? And for those who don't know, University 101 is, again, a course that all incoming freshmen will take right off the bat. So Molly, what is it?
Yeah, so University 101 is called City University Life, and really the overall thrust of it, there are kind of 2 thrusts to it. One is, what does it really take to be a successful college student? So we work on the skills and dispositions that we know impact student success. So time management, how to take notes, just knowing what in and out, what the resources are available to you and how to use them. Mental health counseling, we know, is an emerging need for our students, particularly at this time. It's a heavy time in terms of the virus. It's an extremely heavy time for our Black students and students of color, and all that's going on in society right now. So we want to make sure that students are aware of all of the resources that we have, and it just helps you to know to tuck away for a later date should you ever need those services. But we also work on building community, and so we understand that community is starts with our Point Park community and really learning how to respect and acknowledge students who are different from us, who come from different life experiences from us, and how to engage in those types of discussions and topics to learn how to be a more equitable campus community. And we're also part of a larger community, our city community. Where we're situated puts us, directly in the center of downtown Pittsburgh. So we try to introduce our students to the city as our campus. For those of you who are coming in from out of state or out of the country, it's really learning what's available to you in Pittsburgh, learning a little bit of our history, getting comfortable and competent moving around the city, and then learning to make a difference. So we work on solving larger social problems. Lord knows there's many of them. So we work using human-centered design to work in collaboratively in teams and try to think about how to solve these complex social problems that are impacting our communities. So that's what we've been doing. There will be some adjustments made to that course, certainly going into this semester. We want to prepare students if and when we transition to online and hybrid learning. We acknowledge that this virus has not gone anywhere, and that we are all going to be living with it. Hopefully we're not going to be impacted by it, but we know that it's going to be around, and that decisions are going to have to be made in flux this semester. So I know that there was another question that came out about kind of what's going on, and certainly Pitt has announced what they're planning on doing, going back to school early and leaving early. Point Park is currently making plans for different scenarios. We may follow suit. We definitely won't be going back to school early, but we may follow suit and leave at break, just to ensure that students are able to be safe and healthy, regardless of where they're traveling, and that we're not traveling back and forth and sharing illnesses, and in addition to sharing ideas. So we want to make sure that everybody's safe and healthy. There are really in-depth plans going on right now, so that will all be presented to the board within the next couple of weeks in our and our students will be hearing them, what the decisions are going to be within the next couple of weeks. But it is important to know that we're prepared, that this has been weeks in the making. We've put multiple ideas on the table. Nothing's been decided as of yet until those are extensively reviewed by the staff that's worked on them, our administration, and our board. But I do think that there could be a scenario where we're leaving campus a little bit early. That would mean that we would front load the instruction. We want to make sure that you're getting most of the content and understanding and knowledge that you need on the front end where during the time that you're on campus. And then we engage remotely to do exams, final presentations, those sorts of things, maybe doing that stuff remotely, because really the way the Point Park's academic calendar is set up, it is such a sprint from the time that we leave for Thanksgiving until the end of the semester. We really only have like a week or two tops of classroom instruction that's built into our academic calendar. So most students are a week of instruction, the next week that they're doing final exams anyway. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for us to do that without our students, missing out on the instruction that they need.
All right, so we are at the quarter to 1 mark. We've got 15 minutes left. We can still answer some of your questions. There's a few left that I see that have come through, so we're gonna keep working on those. If you have anything else, please make sure you take the opportunity to ask us here today. Can I test out of a course is a question that I saw come through. I'm gonna answer that because I have a link available right now. It's often referred to as the college level examination program. There's some nuance to this. And I don't necessarily want to get like deep into the information because it might just kind of go over even my head, right? But ultimately a Clep test, you could go to this link in the chat area and you could see what classes are available, what the grading requirements are, the time frame that you have to do it, which is really, correct me if I'm wrong, Judy, Molly, I think it's really only in your sophomore year. It's technically the only time you can Clep. You have to complete them before you hit 59 credits, which is right below the junior mark.
Correct.
But I put a link to the Clep information. What I would recommend to that individual who asked and anybody else interested, review the information on that screen at that link, and then reach out to Judy or myself, and we can direct you in the right area. There's forms we want to fill out before you actually attempt the Clep college level examination program. Ultimately, what I want to take the opportunity to say with this question is reach out to your CSS coordinator. We are here to help you facilitate basically everything while you're at Point Park, whether it's schedules, change of major, minors, finding a resource on campus, tutoring center, counseling center, where's the best place to eat in the city. I mean, we can facilitate basically any question. So reach out to us. Sometimes there are processes that we have to pay attention to, get pre-approvals for certain things so you don't waste time or money on a Clep test that may not come in, or a transfer of credit or something like that.
So the Clep policy is forever in a state of flux. What we're trying to do is allow students to mirror our residency requirement. So Point Park requires that you take your last 30 credits at Point Park. And really the rationale behind that is that that's kind of the meat of your Point Park degree. When you get to your junior and senior year, you're really getting into the thick of your major requirement. So if we were to allow students to go and take courses elsewhere, it kind of diminishes what we believe is the benefit of the Point Park education. So we're working to extend the time that you can take those Clep examinations. Again, college is not cheap. We want to be working with you to make sure that it's as affordable as possible. We want to make sure that we're acknowledging the sacrifices that students and family are making, and that we work with you to let you know all of the options that are available. And so in addition to Clep testing, which is an $80 fee, you pay for that out of pocket. There are a lot of resources available in our library in terms of study materials. But we also have many students who, whether they come in as a transfer with some credits or if they're coming in as a traditional Point Park freshman, you can take courses at another institution. So if it's a local community college in the Pittsburgh area, if it's a community college that is close to you, wherever you're coming to us from, we can transfer in credits. But as Angelo alluded to, there's a policy and a process for everything. So we don't want you going rogue out there and taking something that costs you. Judy's the only one allowed to go rogue, and sometimes me. But we don't want you going there and putting down $300 and taking a course that doesn't fit. So we want to make sure that all of that stuff is evaluated before you take it, so that we don't need for you to know every policy at Point Park. That's our job. Your job is to come to us and ask the questions. So if these are things that you're considering, please, finances can be a very sensitive issue. We know that students and families sometimes, I mean, I look at my student loan statement and I still can't decipher it. So we know that it's hard to ask financial questions. We can make sure that you understand the ramifications, that we can connect you to people who are caring and can help walk you through what that means for you and how to do this more affordably.
All right, we've got a few minutes left, so if there are any final questions, now is your time to ask. Remember, you can follow up with us after this webinar by emailing myself or Judy. Our emails are listed in the chat area. I've also started to post right now. I figured I'd take this opportunity to do it. Some social media links as well. So Point Park, our Center for Student Success, has our own social media presence on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. The YouTube we really like, because we have, I want to say, over close to 30 videos right now, maybe even over that, and over 200 subscribers. And we use our YouTube to do a lot of how-to videos, how to access your Point Park email, how to register for classes, how to get an internship. We do a bunch, and what's really cool, we have Point Park students, for the most part, create these videos via practicum opportunities and other things like that. So your peers are helping you learn the resources and where to go. So please subscribe to our YouTube page, our Instagram. I am posting a link to it right now. And you can also follow us on Twitter. All of our handles are at Point Park CSS. I do run those, and I try to be funny at times, not always serious. So, you know, you gotta brand it a little bit. Here's one last question that I saw come through, but if you have any other questions, please pose them. We have a few minutes left. The question is, it's in the same vein with commuting. Do students get free public bus passes? I'm gonna defer this to the bus riders here and to maybe Molly to answer that question.
Unfortunately, they don't. And this comes up regularly with students. You know, I don't know that it's permanently off the table, but I think what gets confusing to students is that they know that Pitt gets that free bus pass. It's not free. It's actually built into the cost of their tuition. And so it's just been the university's decision to kind of try to keep our price point a little bit lower and not to tack on yet another fee, another hidden fee for students, another transportation fee. So we don't offer public transportation subsidies, but I will say, if it's an issue for you, make sure that you're reaching out to us, and we will rework your schedule to make sure that you are able to do transportation in the most affordable way. That's the best that we can do for you. We share the struggle. It's been one of the beauties of working remotely, is that it's allowed all of us to save on the time and the expense of coming in to campus. So it's always top of mind, because it's something that we share with students. It's a significant expense, even though just for a public transportation and for a bus pass, it's not cheap. So we're very sensitive to it. And if there's any way that we can rework schedules so that you can tick that down lower, we're certainly here to help.
It looks as if we have responded to all the questions that have been presented to us in this webinar. Very great questions, by the way. So thank you for doing all that, and maybe jumping out of your comfort zone to join a webinar, maybe for the first time, and ask some questions. I can't wait to get on campus and meet everybody in person and answer questions in that capacity. But as we wind down here, I want to maybe give everybody one final word to say their final piece, or anything that you want to leave our students with. Judy, why don't you go first?
Okay, thank you, Angelo. I am really looking forward to getting back onto campus and to meeting all of you in person. It's great to work remotely, and I've answered lots of emails and that kind of thing, but there's nothing quite like the face-to-face interaction with the students. I've been at Point Park, it'll be 32 years this year, so
Wow.
I really, really love students. So I will be happy to meet you all. So have a good rest of the summer. Please don't hesitate to reach out.
Michael?
I'm going to say thank you for joining us in this webinar. Come to the other ones that we have, and I look forward to seeing you on campus in the fall. And I just want to say, kind of off the cuff, it's like, I think because of the size of the university, and especially with our office, it's like we're a family and we're welcoming more members. So we're happy to welcome you, and we look forward to helping you in your academic journey.
Molly, what say you?
What say me? Well, I echo that I'm looking forward to seeing faces again. I'm looking forward, we do this work because we love humans and we love the human connection. We're all our own personalities, and we all love people so much. And so we've really missed that. But I don't want you to think that you can't have a face-to-face interaction with us between now and then. We would love to see faces behind the names of the attendees today. So, as Angelo said, please reach out to us via email. We're all super savvy on all of the platforms, and just really would welcome the opportunity for working with you as face-to-face-ish as we can get from now until then. So we'll be seeing you soon.
All right, and then right before we go, I saw one question come through. I actually typed it, but I typed it to the wrong person, so I don't want to confuse anybody here. The question was, when is the next webinar? So the answer that I want to actually give is, right now we are doing these webinars for all the programs at Point Park University. So for everybody in here, this one was dedicated to you being in the School of Business. We will have more webinars slated for July that will dive into the varying resources that are available, whether it be tutoring, disability services, and then there'll be other things coming down the pike from orientations and different experiences as well. So ultimately, what you need to do is pay attention to your email, your Point Park email. And if you have not been able to get that set up or get your credentials set up, you want to work with the IT help desk, and their email is helpdesk@pointpark.edu, which I'm putting in the chat right now. I think that's all the questions. Just want to double check. Okay, we do have one more. I'll answer this one real quick as well. Does Point Park have any clubs? And the answer to that is yes. There's over 50, and it may be more than that at this point, that are quite diverse, that have representation for women, and what is that? Strong girls, strong women. There's an LGBTQ. There's Black Student Union. There's the university, the student government. There's even things from rugby to knitting to tabletop games. There's something for everybody. And here's the really cool thing. I've had many students in the last year or so take this initiative. If there is a group that doesn't exist, make it exist. Go make it happen. You can work with the SAIL office. I can't think of what that stands for right now. Anybody? SAIL? Student
Activities, something leadership.
Interactive leadership, something. SAIL, look at us. But SAIL and CAB, which is the Campus Activities Board, so I got that one down. You can reach out to them. Rachel Phillips is a good contact, and we've had success with students finding a niche, an area that wasn't represented, and then making it happen. And talk about a resume builder right there, going to a university and creating a group for students to connect and network with. So lots of groups that you can join or even look to create. All right, then I guess I'll have the final word here. I want to thank everybody again for joining this webinar. Please check your emails. Get ready to be a Point Park student. You are a Point Park student right now, and we will follow up with any questions that are asked in the survey. So please fill that out as you exit the webinar. Have a happy and safe summer. Cannot wait to see you in the fall. Everybody, thank you so much for joining here today.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.